Hello. Just wanted to walk through the SQL Helper tool that I built using Visual Studio and Claude Code. Really, this project was built to accelerate how fast I can help the team write queries and work in our database as my time fills up. And, the goal was to build something that could act as a junior SQL developer. So yeah, let's quickly walk through the project, how it works, and why it's super powerful. So let's quickly go, I'm not going to click on the environment variables, but this is where this project will live locally. It would have the same access you did if you were logged into Management Studio or Azure Data Factory on your machine. So there's no outside connection. There's no need to log into a VM. So it has the same credentials again if you were using MFA or SQL Server Auth to get in. This environment file also has queries for multiple databases. I'm just calling them database one, database two, but you can give them better names, and the Claude Code agent is much better when you give it easier names to work with. The other thing this is really powerful for is as it goes ahead and writes queries and learns and builds items, and we'll dig through the window here shortly, is that it has the ability to save queries that it's writing to be used later as well. It also has the ability to create data dictionaries. So you'll see in the requirements, a few things that it's doing is that it's using the Anthropic OpenAI Python package, and we're using the OpenAI key, again, more for data security. That way, the data you're querying and everything that's happening is happening via the API key, and no data is being shared through the open model. So it is more protected. And again, all of your credentials being locally. The access to the SQL database also has been set up as read only. So it does not have update, insert, delete access, which it never should. So again, just another protection layer to make sure the AI doesn't go rogue and do anything in database. This is purely meant as a data profiler and a query helper and a query writer tool. And yeah, and that's kind of it. It looks small but here, but it's really robust, and I kind of show you kind of how it works. So once this is set up, you could ask the questions to, such like run a query on the database one, to profile the table and describe it. And you'll see that, it came back with an overview of the table, profiled a lot of information in it, did a null data analysis on it, which is super cool. And then I asked it to, where did it go? Run another query again. So here we go. One of our ret roll tables to get the latest effective date. We do snapshotting on our data. So this way it knows to get today's data and write a query and save it to get the occupancy. Given no other context, and it came back with a query, and you'll see that it also saved to my save queries, where it understood that my gross occupancy status column was how we are tagging units as occupied versus vacant. Figured that out on its own. Um, there's more complex logic actually behind the scenes where there's different unit statuses. So again, this is really cool that it figured that out on its own and wrote some sample queries here. And then, you could grab these, you could paste them into Management Studio, run these against your database and tweak them, paste them back in here. And as this grows, this now becomes, just the memory of saved queries here becomes more robust. And every time you ask it a question, the first thing it'll do will say, go to the saved queries and look for a query, opposed to profiling the data. So it should get faster and faster every time you run it the same way. A junior SQL analyst would just become a better resource for you as well. Hope this is useful. We're going to package this up and put it on a zip drive or drop it into GitHub soon. So sort of stay close to us on when we do that. And again, we'll wipe out the environment file before we do that. So, it'll be pretty easy to set up on your own for your own databases if you're just generally familiar on how to query data.